this organizational meeting of our new agricultural committee to order. Roxanne, do you want to call the roll? Or I can do it. I have the list. You want me to do it?
Whatever,
Okay,
whatever you like.
I'll call it. Allison?
Present.
Bruce Gartzka?
Present.
Russell Holmberg? You are muted, Russell. Do you want to unmute yourself?
There we go. Present.
There you go. Michael Morelli?
Present.
Katie Uhas?
Present.
And Steve Mardick.
Present.
Okay, Kelsey Marie Bradley, who was appointed, had to resign. And so we are down one member, but that because we had such a backup of members or such a large group of people that wanted to serve, we will fill that position pretty quickly, I'm sure. It has to be a member at large of the community. So, but I'm sure at your next meeting, you'll have a full group. So I would just like to mention a few things. First of all, thank you all for volunteering, and just a little protocol because we're online. If you make a motion, you'll always want to state your name first so people know who it was in case somebody is listening in and not really seeing who was on the in the group. So so you would just say, like to make a motion to yada 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 yada. This is Allison Angelini, and that'll be that'll help for anybody that has dialed in as far as who's speaking. I'm speaking of which, I'm Linda Davis, and I am chair of the Ledyard Town Council. Let's see. The only other thing I would mention is if you want to become familiar with at least a dummy's guide to Robert Rules, it's always a good thing. And I say dummy's guide, not to insult you, but I have on my bookshelf the dummy's guide, and I find that to be one of the best guides to Robert's Rules. Also, you may want to take a look at the town charter. The town's plan of conservation and development would also be a good item to read. And with that, I am going to ask if the mayor has anything he'd like to say.
Yeah, first I'd like to thank everybody for stepping up. I think we're really, the town of Ledyard is extremely fortunate to have people that are both capable and willing. So thank you all for that. And then I would also suggest looking at the ordinance in terms of the charge that you bring for this. So that's kind of your steering document, one of your steering documents. So I would suggest doing that too. But thank you all. I think everybody here, so I know the capabilities of this group, and I am looking forward to really great things.
Thank you, Mayor. Now, here's the part that is always awkward. I've had to start meetings many times. Well, not many, because we haven't had that many new commissions. And this is where we elect officers. So at this point, I would like somebody to make a motion. And if nobody does, I'll make a little recommendation. But would somebody like to make a motion as far as electing a chairman?
I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
This is Steve Mardick, and
Yes.
I would like to nominate Bruce Garska.
Okay.
Am I allowed to say reasons, or is that
Yes, you may. Thank you.
For one, and when I'm done, I'll let him speak. I don't want to speak on his half, but he's more than qualified for the position, for one. And another reason is being that this committee is made up of 4 members, community at large, and 3 members from the farming community. I only think it's fitting that, you know, we have a chairman that's of the farming community.
Okay. Bruce, are you comfortable running a meeting?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Is there a second?
Mike Morelli, I second it.
Okay, the motion's been made and seconded. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, all in favor as Bruce Gartzka as your chairman, say aye.
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 The motion carries, and at this time, I would turn the meeting over to Bruce.
Well, thank you very much, Linda. Thank you very much, Roxanne. Thank you very much, Mayor Fred. Like to know everybody what we have to offer to the table. I do know some of the people here. I don't know all of them. From my own background, I grew up in Ledyard. I graduated from Ledyard High School. Got married, lived in Preston for 27 years. My wife and I had horses and sheep there. We moved back to Ledyard. We have miniature donkeys now, donkeys, ponies, mini mare hennies, horses. And we've been farming here for over 16 years. I also farmed on my wife's grandfather's dairy farm. I worked with him for quite a few years. So that's my background that I bring as far as the farming. As far as my background educationally, I went to the University of Connecticut, graduated with a BS in business, focusing on finance and accounting. I worked for the state of Connecticut, where I retired as the maintenance supervisor for the Eastern region for the Department of Disability Services. Since that time, I have been on the farm and also working with my wife on some of the rental properties we have.
Thank you, Bruce. What I would like to suggest you do now is go back to the agenda and do the election of the rest of the officers, and then under comments of committee members, perhaps the rest of the committee members could tell a little bit of their backgrounds.
Okay, at this point, I'll entertain motions for vice chairman.
I'll second the motion, Mike Morelli.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. Mike?
Mike, I'll second the motion.
Okay.
I don't believe anybody was nominated, were they?
No.
I didn't hear, that's why I think.
Maybe Mike was volunteering. I think Mike was volunteering.
Yes. Vice chair, yes. I would consider it, yes.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. And that was what? At this point, I'll entertain any more nominations for vice chairman. Having heard none, all in favor of, Michael Morelli for vice chairman, say aye.
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 All opposed? So carried. I think it's the secretary. The secretary's position. Nominee. I would like to nominate Allison Angelini. Do I have a second?
Mike Morelli, I'll second that.
Are there any other nominations for secretary? If not, I'll close that, and we'll have all in favor of Allison being secretary, say aye.
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 So carried. At this point, we have, I believe that the next position is the treasurer. Is that correct? I'll ask
Roxanne, the position of treasurer or fiscal officer probably doesn't have much of a job here, do they?
Well, this commission is going to be looking for grant money, and, they need to have some local funds to be able to participate in the program to purchase the development right. So I think they would want somebody who was actually tracking that for them so they know what they have available.
Okay,
and
sounds
what
good.
kind of available. That's just my thought. I don't know what you think.
Makes sense.
I agree. Do we have any for nominations of a fiscal officer?
If you don't get a nomination, you could certainly wait till the next meeting and you'll have a new member and we can tell them that you voted him as fiscal officer or her. But I don't feel particularly concerned if you don't fill that position this evening.
Okay, then we'll table that position until the next meeting. And at that point, I think we are completed the officers at that point. At this point, I'd like to just get a little background of everybody. Michael?
Bruce,
Yes?
the next item is motion to set the Agricultural Commission's regular meeting schedule.
Okay.
And you'll want to see if this is a time that works for everybody. And if that's the case, this may be your time unless there's a better time for the group.
Okay.
What you'd want to do is determine like the first Tuesday of every month at whatever time, or you might decide you need to meet twice a month. So you'd want to pick, say, the first and third. You know, it doesn't, so that would be setting your schedule.
Okay. I'm pretty much open to suggestions, or twice a month is sufficient. And first of all, does the first Tuesday of the month work for everybody? Certainly it does for me, but does the first Tuesday work for other people, or are there other times that would be more beneficial?
It's Mike Morelli. The first Tuesday of the month would work for me. The only thing I think is that eventually we will be going back and meeting in the annex. Is there anybody else who's scheduled at that time at the annex? I looked at the different schedules, and I think there may be a conflict. I looked at the third Tuesday of the month.
Inland Wetlands meets in the chambers on the first Tuesday of the month, and the annex is also occupied.
Okay. At what point is the annex open? Is it open on the second of the month by chance?
As Mike mentioned, the third Tuesday it's open.
The third Tuesday. Okay. Would the third Tuesday of every month work for everyone here?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
No
Okay.
issues here.
Okay, if there's no issues, that will set our next meeting schedule. But that's what we'll schedule. We'll also schedule it via the conference phone, and that would be October. And it's
Yes.
see any problems there? Okay,
Fine.
6 o'clock, and that's and that would be the 20th of October, if I am correct. Third Tuesday of the month would be the October 20th at 6 o'clock.
Someone will need to make a motion to set that regular meeting schedule date and time.
I'll entertain a motion to set the meeting time for the third Tuesday of the month,
I would
commencing
second
with
that.
October 20th.
Mike Morelli, I would second that.
Okay, all in favor of the third Tuesday of the month being set for the meeting? Say aye.
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 Okay, so carried, and we'll meet October 20th at 6 o'clock via the conference phone.
And if I could just mention for those that are new to this town stuff, Robert's rules, that if perchance during the year you set a special meeting, that the only items you can discuss at a special meeting are those items that are on the agenda. Whereas at a regular meeting, you can amend the agenda, at a special meeting, you cannot.
Correct. Okay, thank you.
And with that being said, the October 20th meeting would actually be considered a special meeting because the schedule needs to be on file with the clerk's office 30 days prior to the first regular meeting. So your November meeting would be your first regular meeting.
Okay. Well, on the October 20th meeting, what we should do, I'm sorry. On the October 20th meeting, we will have the election of the fiscal officer. And is there any other issues that people want to have on that agenda?
You can make that decision, Bruce, about a week before the meeting. And if anybody has anything they would like to add to the agenda, they can email you. That's mostly the way the other committees and commissions work. So you have some time for that.
Okay, very good.
If I could, Bruce, when you do that, don't have everybody reply all and get what appears to be a meeting going, because that technically constitutes an illegal meeting. So when you ask for people to email you, only individual replies.
Okay, thank you very much. That will be on the agenda for now, and then people can report to me, email, and I guess we should make our emails available to Allison anyway, so that she can have them, so that we can have them between all of us.
I can put my email in
But
the
first-
chat box and people can email me.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch
Or
that.
try to do it.
If you would like, after tonight's meeting, I can distribute everyone's email addresses to all of you, so you'll have everyone's contact numbers and stuff on the commission. So I can send you all that sheet.
That would be great.
Thank you. Thank you. That would mean that the November 17th will be our first regularly scheduled meeting then, if I am correct on that.
That
So
would be in
everybody can-
November.
Correct.
Yes.
November 17th will be our first regular meeting. October 20th will be a special meeting. At this point, we're scheduled to have the election of the fiscal officer. Are we all set here as far as that? At this point in time, I think if it's a proper time, and I'll defer to Linda Davis on this to get a little background on everybody here, please.
Actually, I'm going to go back to the agenda again. The next item on the agenda is a review of the ordinance. And I would guess at this point, if you have any questions or specific comments on that ordinance, I'm assuming everybody's read it, but if you haven't, you'll want to do that before the next meeting.
Yep. Oh, that. Yep. Okay, we have the. Okay, I'm looking for something here on the commission here. I don't have the other part in front of me. You have the other thing?
If nobody has anything to comment on as far as the ordinance, you can move on to the next item on the agenda. But I think just to say that you should, certainly review that, and if any questions come up, you could certainly bring that up at the next meeting.
Okay. I don't have that printed out. That's the only thing. Okay, we'll come back to that in the next regular scheduled meeting. And I don't have the agenda printed out on my phone here. I'm sorry, I don't have that.
So the next item is comments of committee members, and this would be a good opportunity for people to introduce themselves.
Well, since I've already done that, I'll go to the next one in order. The Vice Chairman, Michael.
Yes. Presently on the Conservation Commission, I'm the chair of the Conservation Commission, and I've been there about 6-7 years now. I've been interested in the agricultural issues for the town I've been trying to get things going for about the last 5 years. Currently, I work down at the Coast Guard Academy as a gardener, senior gardener because I'm the oldest. 30 years merchant marine. I keep honeybees in the backyard. I have a couple chickens. I've always been very interested in promoting agriculture in the town.
That's very nice.
If
Mike, is it
Oh,
Mike
no.
or Mike? Which do you prefer?
Mike's fine, that's fine.
Okay.
Because of my experience with the Conservation Commission, I'm very familiar with the way we conduct meetings and stuff like that. So if anybody has any questions or needs any guidance so we can, do the meetings correctly and professionally, please I'll be more than happy to. And I'll probably be, as we're going along, if a point comes up, I can try to clarify it for everybody.
Oh, thank you. On that note, Allison?
My name is Allison Angelini. I own Full Heart Farm, which is on Iron Street, across from the Sawmill Park. We are wrapping up our 9th growing season here, where I raise just over 275 different types of specialty vegetables and cut flowers that we sell directly to the public and to local restaurants. I have a degree in sustainable agriculture from UMass Amherst. I've worked on a number of different farms in New England and in Italy. And happy to answer questions if anyone has them.
No? If anybody has any questions for Angela? I know we have Russell Holmberg here as well.
Here I am. So sorry, my video feed dropped out. I grabbed my iPhone and ran out onto the porch here to avoid the kids in the background, and it kicked me off my video feed. So can you hear me now?
We can.
Okay. So Russell Holmberg with Holmberg Orchards. My family's been farming in Ledyard here for over 100 years. I'm the 4th generation to raise fruit here on our family farm. I have a degree from UConn in horticulture, born and raised on the farm, and currently raising 2 small children on the farm. So it's me, wife, and the 2 kids.
Very nice. Any other questions for Russell? Katie Uhas. Is Katie there?
I think she's muted.
She's okay now. Go ahead.
Can you
You
hear
all
me?
set?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm on my phone. Anyway, I'm trying to figure this all out. You probably heard me yelling at my daughter a few minutes ago. I promise I'll get better. Grew up in Mystic. I worked for a large ag corporation for 20 years. I started at DeKalb Genetics in Mystic. I ended up out in St. Louis. I have a degree in communications. I moved back to town when my daughter was born to be around family. And since then got a job with the Department of Agriculture. Currently working from home, but our office is in Hartford, but I'm on the road most of the time. I'm a inspector for produce safety. Yeah, so I'm really hoping that I can bring to the group some of the, kind of a different view from the regulation in the state, and have a lot of contacts that, if we have questions, like I know that Joan Nichols had called in to one of the past meetings. I have a good relationship and see Joan often, so I'm hoping that I can tap into some of those to help us accomplish what we want to here.
Thank you. I know we have alternate Steve Martnick here.
Yep. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Steve Mardick, born and raised in Ledyard, graduated from Ledyard High School in 2004. Me and my wife just moved into a new house that we built in April. After a long process with the town, we finally got approval to build on her family farm that they've owned since 1947. It was once known as Cider Hill Turkey Farm. Currently, the first year in the house, right now we just have a couple of chickens. And we also run a small business in town called Cider Hill Farm, where my wife specializes in homemade soy wax candles.
Well, thank you. As far as I know, I think that's all the members that are here and present. And one thing I do want to mention is that actually I married into the farming community through my wife. My wife is the 11th generation on our farm. It goes back to like the 1600s. It's the old lamb farm off of Lambtown Road. So she's got roots that go deeper than I don't know what. So that's where we are. I'd like to just, anybody has any other questions? New business?
New business is not on the agenda, so at this time,
Well, the comment.
somebody would need to make a motion to adjourn. And next meeting, I'll try to, I may come to visit, but I will try not to be as overbearing. But this would be the time you would make a motion to adjourn.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mike Morelli, I'll second that.
All in favor of adjourning the meeting?
Aye.
Say aye.
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 Meeting is adjourned at 6:28 p.m. Tuesday. Thank you very much for your attendance.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Linda.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you on October 20th.
Yep.
Thank you.